This is Ronnie here. Today we are going to show you our recipe for elderberry syrup, so y'all stay tuned. Get a warning out before anything goes any further. I'm not any kind of a herbalist or a doctor, so this is just for demonstration purposes. So you're taking your own risk if you make this just like I am. So I'm going to show you this recipe. I've gathered this recipe from various YouTube channels and recipes offline. I am using fresh, frozen elderberries. It is my understanding that if you're using dried elderberries, you're going to use half as much. So I'm going to use 2 cups. For dried elderberries, you'd use 1 cup. That is my understanding. But if you're using dried elderberries, I would do a little bit more research and make sure that that is the case. Basically what we're going to do is use 2 cups of frozen and 4 cups of water. That's going to be our recipe. We're going to also add in a few spices, some warm spices like clove. We're going to add in some ginger and a little bit of cinnamon. So let's show you what we got. We're going to start with our 4 cups of water. I'm using filtered water here out of my refrigerator. Alright guys, for the elderberries, like I said, I'm using fresh frozen elderberries that I picked here on my property. If you want to see the video of that, I'm going to leave a card up above. You can click on that card and it'll take you and show you the process that I used of harvesting and storing these. Now I've already pre-measured these out. I have 2 cups of elderberries right here, so we're going to stick these in our pot, bring these up to a simmer and let these simmer till they reduce just a little bit. Now we got our water and our elderberries in here. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of clove, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I've taken some fresh ginger and I've peeled it, and we're going to use our microplaner to add about half of this nub of ginger into our mixture here. Once my berries come up to a boil, I'm going to cut them all the way down low, and I'm going to let them simmer until my liquid reduces by about half. Now after all this has simmered for a little while and reduced by half, I'll turn the burner off, and I have a metal sieve here with a pestle. It goes in this little stand. I'll set this over top of my pot and pour all my berries in here, and then I'll use this to extract all the juice out of it. And then as it's cooling down, I'm going to add in some raw honey. Now the raw honey has benefits of its own, but it's also here to sweeten it, so you can kind of adjust it to your liking. Same thing with the clove and the cinnamon and the ginger. If you don't like a lot of clove, like I don't like a lot of clove, I used a half a teaspoon of clove to a whole teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I just grated in the ginger to taste. I used about half of that little nub that you've seen me use. So this is all kind of, I mean, there's some baselines that you can go by, but this is kind of like you can adjust it to your liking and to your taste. Each one of these has different properties that help benefit. You could also add in some echinacea or purple coneflower in here, which I plan to do next time. I have some out in the yard that I'm going to harvest that's already dried on the plant, and I'll get some of that and put in here next time and see how that works. Alright, so our liquid has reduced. Our 15 minutes of simmering is up. We're going to transfer this to another pot so we can place our strainer over the top of it and strain our juice. So let's do that right quick. Alright, now that we got our berries strained, all we have left to do is to add our honey in and then we're going to put it in our mason jars. I have my mason jars here with just a little bit of hot water in it. We're not doing any kind of hot bath cannon or anything. I just got the jars just a little warm, just so it's not putting that extra warm liquid in it to crack the jars. Basically, we're going to fill these jars up however much we have, and we'll put a lid on it and stick it in the refrigerator. This should be good for up to a month, maybe 2 months. The honey should help preserve it. We're probably going to go with about a cup of honey to start with. The next time we make this, if it's too sweet or not sweet enough, we'll adjust it then. Like I said, this is my first time making this. To preface a little bit, I found elderberries on my property this year, and this was my first time gathering them, storing them, and then processing them here and making elderberry syrup. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and stay tuned as we get this bottled up, and then we'll wrap this up and maybe give it a little try. I changed my mind on the honey a little bit. I'm going to start out with a half a cup and just see how that does. And if it needs more honey the next time, we'll add a little bit more. I think a cup would be a little bit too much for this mixture here. So let's give a half a cup a try, and then we'll see where we at. Alright, let's give this a try. I have about 2 teaspoons here. Has nice warm flavors from the clove and cinnamon. It's not too powerful. I think it's just right. The sweetness of it, I could use a touch more honey, but I really wouldn't want it too much sweeter. So I'm probably going to stick with that half a cup on there. I like that. So we'll get these put in the refrigerator, and we'll have these to use, and hopefully these will keep us symptom free. And if we do get something, COVID, or if we get flu or cold, hopefully these will help with some of the symptoms of it. This is not a cure-all. All this is just to help alleviate some of the symptoms of viral infections. So we'll see what happens.